together and welcome Sarah Jeffery, Madeleine Mantock, and Melonie Diaz. Welcome. So it's so fun to be able to watch the pilot and just like feel the energy of the whole season. I can feel unfurling in front of us, which is so fun. I wonder if we could just start by talking a little bit about how each of you came to this project. Was it something that you were familiar about before you got the role? What was the process of auditioning like?
Well, I was definitely familiar with Charmed. I mean, who isn't? It was a little bit before my time, so I hadn't watched the full thing, but it's just such a massive entity. Originally, I wasn't meant to audition because I was attached to another show, but got in the room, and thankfully they loved me, and the pieces just kind of fell together. The other show let me go to second position, and yeah.
Yeah, I was the first one to meet with Jenny and Amy and Jessica, our producers. And at first I was scared. I was like, this is such a big show. You know, it needs to be done right. And I was a really big fan of Jane the Virgin. And I felt like, okay, like, these are the right people to kind of take the show in a different direction and modernize it. And their vision in our meeting was just really fresh and fun. And I was like, okay, like, let's do it. Like, this is going to be good.
I came to be a part of the show because I'd done a show about 5 years ago called The Tomorrow People. And one of our writers, yes, GTP forever, one of our writers, Micah Schraft, is now an EP on Jane the Virgin. And so when they were looking for their Macy, he said to them, well, you should look at Madeleine Mantock. So I owe him a great debt. And I live in England, so I just did a Skype with our EPs, and I basically said to them, I really love the script. I think it's really fresh and conscious, and I really appreciate that. So I sort of said, look, even if this is the last time we speak, I'm grateful that you're doing it, and I just sort of said thank you and goodbye. So I'm really glad that I did end up being a part of it.
One thing that I think is so fantastic and also sadly unusual about this show is that it does have 3 female EPs. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about what that experience has been like, whether it feels different than other projects that you've worked on, what it means to you just to have that aspect of the show.
Well, we've had conversations amongst ourselves and with other sort of outlets. We get asked this question. I think we've all experienced what it's like to play the best friend.
I've made so many best friends in my life.
Like, I know how to do this.
To be that kind of accessory to somebody else and to really be there to uplift their story. And so for me, it's a privilege, and I feel really grateful that I get to be, like the hero of. Because in our own lives, I'm the hero of my life. So it's nice to actually get to play that and to be at the forefront when usually I'm quite used to being there to support other characters.
Yeah, and also just like even like the backdrop, like I look at these girls and I'm like, oh, these are what my friends look like. Yeah. And to see that reflected on screen, I'm just really proud to be in that.
Yeah, and our team has so many wonderful, incredible females behind it. Yeah, it's just really been a very compassionate, amazing experience.
Yeah. I think one of the things that you were talking about a second ago, and I think is so apparent from the pilot and also feels so distinct about the project, right, is how of the moment it is, how directly it's trying to take on social issues. Is that something that you worry about when you come into a project as far as, alienating people or giving it a message that, it's not just ever going to be like the fun fantasy show. There's also going to be this other thing, this other layer that it has.
I mean, I don't know. I think the world is pretty crazy right now. There's a lot of things going on, and I just feel like it's important to have a point of view. And ours is one of consciousness, and we really want to talk about issues that reflect current time. And I think for me, it's a responsibility.
Definitely.
That's why I wanted to be a part of this project, because I was like, okay, they're going to be talking about real things. So.
Yeah, I've always hoped to use my art to speak on things that really matter and are really important to me. And we have the platform and we're doing it, and that just feels like a really big blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest things about the show that made me want to do it. If they took that away, I'd be upset. You know, like we live political existences, and
Totally.
you know, whether or not you choose to engage with it, politics does affect everybody. So I think it's smart for us to be able to utilize it in our show.
Yeah. I wonder if there are what other performances you have looked to as you were thinking about what you want these characters to be like, and then also what the writers and producers told you about these characters as you were sort of getting prepped to play them.
Well, there are things that they told me that I can't tell you.
Oh, really?
I think for me, I try to work from the script. I try to work what, you know, that reveals about my character, and then it just involves a lot of trust and asking questions, and to sort of say to the directors or, you know, producers, whoever it is, let me know, you know, steer me in a different direction if you want something else. And I think you find your way as you go along, and you sort of go, oh, but I thought she was like this, and you know, and then they can open your mind to other facets of your character that you might not have realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even with the casting of us, like we're all so different.
Totally.
We all feel very different. Our looks are different. What we care about is different. So our goal is that we want people to watch our show and be like, oh, are you a Macy? Are you a Maggie? Like, you know, we want people to feel like there's something for everyone. And even like in casting, like our supportive cast members, we want it to be really diverse and inclusive. So that's been exciting.
Yeah, I think for me, having the opportunity to be a lead has also been huge in that it's a more collaborative experience from the start. I get to sort of have that input about my character and have those creative meetings, and that's something I haven't gotten the opportunity to do before, really. So that's been really exciting.
Do you each think that you are your own characters? Like, if you yourself are Mel, are you the Mel?
Yeah, I think I'm a big part of it all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm equally as passionate. I care about social issues. I mean, I'm not as aggro as she is. I think I'm more low-key than that. But yeah, you know, you can't help but like the characters that you play, you are a big part of. It kind of just molds into each other.
You're infused in there.
Yeah, the elements of Macy. Sometimes I'll read a script and I'll be laughing along, and then I'm like, hang on. Is that a slight at me? Yeah, I can be quite particular, and I need to understand things, and I want the logic. So I guess in that respect, but I don't have a PhD, so yeah.
I imagine there are also things about your characters and about each other's characters that you admire, or you, as you have been working on it, been thinking about like, ooh, she should not have made that choice. I think it's really interesting to think about the way that your visions of these people sort of comes together with the writer's vision, right?
Yeah, I mean, just speaking to what I just said, it is, we can go to them and say, oh, that doesn't feel quite right. You know, we get the script X amount of days before, and yeah, they're so responsive and willing to work with us. So.
Yeah. What has surprised you the most about, after you got this project and started working on it, and now you're in the middle of it, what has been the most surprising thing about working on this?
The magic. It has been such a learning curve for me, I think for all of us.
Yeah.
'Cause we have to like see things that aren't there, and like, I'm like, what am I reacting to? Like,
Right.
what's happening?
Coordination and...
It's been like, it is choreography.
It is choreography.
The action.
And trust.
And trust that like whatever I'm
They're gonna
actually gonna be there
Yeah.
on the screen.
I worry about that a lot. Like, what if they forget to put it in, or so it looks like I'm just doing this a lot?
I think,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think something that has been surprising is just how much I'm seeing us out in the world. Like driving by the posters, I'm like, oh my God, that's my face. That is kind of bewildering.
The fact that the show is coming out next week, it's
Oh,
crazy,
yeah.
guys.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we filmed the pilot in March, so it's been quite a while, and yeah, it's happening.
Happening.
Yeah, I think so have you finished shooting the whole season?
No.
No.
No,
We're on episode 6, about to start 7.
And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about, for my own curiosity, is it going to be mostly sort of a demon of the week situation? Or is there more of an overarching?
You know, there are demons that will be around for a while.
For longer, demons that...
Yeah, because there's a definite through line in terms of wanting to figure out what happened to the mum.
Yeah. There.
I hope I can say that. I mean, I feel that's pretty, you know.
Yeah.
That's not giving anything away, really. Yeah, so we have some that are there for a little bit, and then there is this through line that I guess involves, it's like a little treasure trail.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. Is that something that, it feels like that introduces an element of the show that is a nice variable, right? Like you get to have guest stars that are coming in and who are playing different demons, and then also you have this bigger pull through, right? Do you guys know what's going to be happening to your characters by the end of the season?
We don't.
You don't?
Nope.
You don't?
I kind of have an idea of where things will go and like what my biggest plot line will be, but I also kind of, I don't know, I don't want to know too much, and I don't.
I think I know
thing.
what. I mean, it's not like, not necessarily like stuff that happens to me, just like things that I do or things that I discover.
I don't really know.
I feel like you told them not to tell you. This is when at the start when we had our meetings.
I wanted to more know, but they were like, no, I think you should not know.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
Do you prefer it that way? Would you prefer to be able to know what's coming up, or is it better when you can sort of react a little bit more closely at the time?
I want to know, but I think it's better that I don't. I think it allows you to really be in the moment and like focus on the episode and the through line of what I'm going through at that moment.
Yeah,
definitely.
I like to know in case it informs things.
Sure.
Yes.
You know, where I'm like, oh, but don't forget that this is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I thought I wanted to not know anything, and then I'm getting the scripts, and I'm like, but what happens next?
Yeah. And so when you come to sit down at a table read, right, and you sort of get this script and you have this first chance to work through, what are the most fun adjustments to make? What are the most challenging ones?
The fun I have at the table read is watching in real time Rupert, who plays Harry, try out his changes.
Yes, he goes in before and
he keeps us on our toes. So yeah, that's really fun for me. And I think the challenges are, it's quite a fast schedule that we're working with, and so there's not always a great deal of time, and so it's finding the things that I want to ask questions about. It's almost like you have to have a second hat on of like, I'm a script assessor also. You know,
also shooting a full day of stuff.
So it's kind of having that like second, third eye on something else. I find that quite difficult at times to kind of have a scope over everything, but
I agree. Like sometimes, like you know, like TV is so fast. Like we have episodes, and then we're shooting it 2 days later, and we're like, oh my god. So kind of keeping track of like what Mel is going through, and also kind of like making sure that the creative team is aware of what you want and where you want to go as well.
Yeah. Is that something that, obviously that's something that the more you work on, you get better at, right? But it does feel like there are some muscles that would take, like I'm just imagining the process of reacting to monsters, right?
Oh, that's definitely
better.
I don't know if I can say it does.
It stays weird forever just to be reacting to nothing in the room?
Well, also for me, because my character has telekinesis, it's kind of difficult to be moving stuff that they say, oh, we're going to do it in post. And so I'm just sort of like, okay, well, can you just let me know then if it looks good?
I will say that the mind reading of it all, we've tried it a multitude of ways, and we're still kind of navigating what's the best way to do it. But I've had like a little spy like bug in my ear before. I've had people reading it off camera. I've left like the gap for me to hear it in my own head. So still kind of toying with what the best way to do that is.
Yeah. Who is your ideal audience member? When you are when you're being these characters, when you're doing this amazing sisterhood thing, who do you want to be watching this show?
I'm not just saying this because like I want everybody to watch it, but I really feel like our show, there's something for like, you know, like high schoolers, middle schoolers, you know, moms who want to watch a good show with their daughters on Sunday.
Men who are on the right side of history. Yes.
I really feel like, and then like there's like, you know, elements of like drama and comedy, and so I really do feel like there's something for everyone.
I want to take this as an opportunity to give a shout out to O'Dane. Don't know if you're in here.
Oh my
but
gosh.
He has been riding for us from day one. We love you, O'Dane. Are you here?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we see you, we appreciate you, and yeah, you are our ideal audience member.
Yes.
So, but as you're imagining, right, a high schooler or a girl and her mom like watching this, what do you want them to take away from that? What kind of conversations do you want them to be having as they're watching this show?
All of the difficult ones.
Yeah.
No, but, you know, the important things, like, I guess, you know, I think a lot about, as I'm getting a bit older, I think about what it was like for me to be in that kind of age range where you're growing up and you're so susceptible to what you're shown, you know, what images you're shown in the media and how you're told to be as a woman. So I think it's brilliant that we have this opportunity to showcase lots of different types of people. And it's like, you don't have to fit in a certain box. And actually, however you are, however you came out, and however you are existing in this world, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think, and I hope this comes through, you never really know until you see, but I'm trying to create Maggie as this girl who loves fashion, and she's a girly girl, and it would be so easy to put her in the box of sort of like vapid valley girl, but she's also very smart and has her wits about her.
And kind.
Yeah, and kind and caring and empathetic. And that was always a misconception for me growing up is, oh, you can't be the girl who loves makeup and be the girl who's witty and will bite back on Twitter. So that's been sort of my journey with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this idea of like our slogan is like stronger together, and I think, again, with everything that's happening right now, I think that we are stronger together. We're stronger when we're kinder and love each other. Like, one of my favorite things about our show is like the sisterhood, you know? It's like we are our biggest love interests.
Yeah.
And I think that that is really cool because I think there's something really magical about that. When you stick with your clan and your ilk, you can make magical things happen. So I want people to feel that when they watch our show.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stronger together. Thank you
Stronger
so
together.
much, everyone.
Thank you.
Watch the pilot. It's great.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.